In this video, we are going to be looking at the difference between scalars and vectors. Right, no messing around today, straight into the definitions. A scalar is a quantity with a magnitude but no specific direction. But a vector is a quantity with a magnitude and a specific direction. Let's dig into these definitions by having a look at the difference between speed and velocity. Time for a demonstration. Me walking in 3 different scenarios. Thrilling. So in the first clip, I was walking at different paces. That is, different magnitudes of speed. Magnitude is just a fancy word for size. In the second clip, I'm walking at the same speed, but in different directions. This is what separates speed, my scalar quantity, from velocity, my vector quantity. Whilst my speed remained the same in the second clip, my velocities were different because I was walking in different directions. And in the final clip, my movement was identical. So my speed was the same, but also my velocity was the same because my pace and my direction were both identical. So that's speed and velocity. But there is another scalar and vector pair that we're particularly interested in, and that is distance and displacement. More clips of me walking. Okay, in the first clip, the distance was different. One of me had walked further than the other of me. In the second clip, the distance was the same, but the displacement was different. That's because one of me had walked that distance to the right and the other had walked that distance but to the left. And in the final clip, my total distance was 2 meters, but my displacement was 0. I was right back where I had started, so I had travelled nowhere in a given direction. So displacement is the vector BFF to distance my scalar. Now, you need to be able to tell whether things are scalars or vectors, and I've got a few hints to help you out. If you would usually draw that quantity with an arrow, like a force, then it's a vector. Or if you usually have to worry about whether your quantity should have a minus sign in front of it or not, like minus 2 meters per second squared if something were decelerating, that's another hint that your quantity is probably a vector. And the most obvious one is if you have to state the direction that that quantity is acting in, then it's a vector. Alternatively, here's a list of them that you can just learn. Well, sometimes you just gotta get the job done. Okay, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe. And make sure you download the notes for a comprehensive table of some very common vectors and scalars to learn.